All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Birds on the Farm. As always, I'm Sandy. This is Kareem. We've got a really fun episode loaded with fun stuff to talk about today. So we're going to be going through some of our favorite pre-arb and prospect players. So we're going to be drafting them, looking to see who can find the most long-term value in their top 5 in the system. We're going to be talking a little bit about a stud, Rainiel Rodriguez, who's been lighting the world on fire over in he's in Dominican League right now, right? I want to say that right.
Complex. Florida Complex League.
He's in the Florida Complex, but we could see him in full season ball potentially soon. I don't know how aggressive the Cardinals will be. We'll talk about that. And we've got plenty more to talk about. So let's just get right into it, Kareem. What are the rules of this draft? How's this going to work?
Yeah, so the players we're selecting must either be pre-arb or prospects, guys that, haven't debuted yet, that aren't, pre-arb. And, each of us will be picking 5 guys and, it'll be a snake style draft. So I'll pick, then you'll pick twice and so on.
Sweet. And the goal here, again, is to find the most long-term value. So it's not what they do this year. It's not what they do next year. And maybe we'll have to check in on these results in a few years. It's going to be interesting to monitor how this all goes. It's so hard to project long-term for some of these guys, especially the younger players in the minor leagues. So it's going to be fun to kind of go through there and see what's what.
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. So, how do you want to determine who gets the first pick here?
You want to just do a coin toss?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Heads or tails?
I'll call heads. Heads.
Heads? All right. Tails. All right, I'm going to flip it. It's tails. So
all right. So Kareem's got I think I know who I'd pick first. I'm interested to see who you go with.
I'm debating whether to pick first or second because I'll get the back to back.
Okay. Interesting.
You know what? I'll defer to you. You can pick first.
Okay, this is actually really tough because I feel like there are two. So again, to sort of explain the rules to this, they must either be pre-arb or prospects in the minor league system. So we're not talking about guys like Andre Palante or Lars Nootbaar or Brendan Donovan who have already reached that first year of arbitration. Only guys in their pre-arb years or who have not debuted yet. So I think, man, now that I'm picking first, this is really tough. I think I'm going to go with Ivan Herrera. I think the floor is there with the bat. I think Ivan is going to be an absolute star. We've already seen what he's doing this year. Yesterday, another strong performance from him. I'm going to the game tonight, which is why we're running this a little earlier. So I'm excited to see Ivan in person for the first time this year. Super excited about what his ceiling is long-term, though. I really think that while there are some other guys here that may have a higher floor defensively, or with the speed tool, for example, I think Ivan has the highest ceiling of anybody in here, at least for me. I think he has true like all-star, potentially like MVP vote potential. That bat could be a 150, 160 WRC plus bat. So I've got to take Ivan off the board first.
Yeah, that's honestly why I chose to defer there. I think.
Yeah, I see where you're going.
Between him and Mason Wynn, who's going to be my selection. Yeah, I didn't think there was a huge gap there, and honestly, I might have taken Wynn. I think it's a safer floor when we're talking about a guy that's going to provide elite defense at shortstop. The bat has been tremendous so far this year, 123 WRC plus, and we're seeing some of the quality of contact numbers improve from last year. His xWOBA on the season is 324, which is like 30 points up from last year. Bat speed is up. He's just been doing a lot of good things offensively, especially since he got off the IL. We're seeing him provide some pull side juice. And yeah, like I think all around, Mason Wynn's going to provide you a lot of value in terms of what he can do defensively. His base running has taken a step back a little bit so far this year, but he's
4 times now this year. I saw that.
Yeah, that's tough, but he's still an electric athlete. I think that long term, you still project this guy to be a great base runner like he was last year, and overall just a well-rounded skill set. I don't think he has the superstar 150 WRC plus kind of ceiling that a Herrera might have, but at the same time, I think he's already shown what he can do over a full season with a 3.5 WAR last year, 103 WRC plus defense at short. And I just think he's taken a step up offensively from last year. And I think he could be a 4+ win player for the foreseeable future. So I probably would have taken Mason Wynn with the first overall pick. So getting him here at 2 is
here's
awesome.
my thing. I know that Wynn probably has the much higher floor in terms of WAR to accumulate over his career. But
yeah,
I mean, if we're just talking about like the best team that we're making, like I think Herrera's got the chance to, like, he probably won't win an MVP. You can't project that for anybody. But if anyone on this list is going to do it, it probably is Herrera in terms of like what he could be in a full season if everything goes right.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I can understand your thought process. And again, it was certainly something I've gone back and forth on. I don't think it's, set in stone. And, we're inspired by Josh's article that he recently wrote over at Redbird Rants. I think he had Herrera at 1 on his list. So, I mean, I can understand it. It's just, I think Wynn is a little bit safer of a bet.
Yeah,
and I think we're seeing the offense come together as well with the defense. I just think the all-around skill set, Herrera, there's still some questions about him playing catcher, but if he's going to hit the way that he's doing right now, I don't think it matters where he's going to play. Even if he's at DH, most of the time, we're talking about a guy that is looking like a potential 140 plus WRC plus kind of guy. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, so, and with Wynn, you're talking about the walk rate has jumped significantly this year. He's putting the ball in the air a lot more. Wynn is starting to drive the ball a little bit, The exit velocity is up 2 ticks on the season. His launch angle is up from 13.2 last year to 18.4. So he's really not hitting it on the ground nearly as much as he was. He's hitting it harder. He's drawing a lot more walks. This guy is really coming along as a hitter. And people are saying that some of Mason, I mean, he's definitely been a little bit lucky on the season, sure. But I don't know if it's crazy. The gap isn't huge, and Mason Wynn could definitely sustain this kind of production. So I mean, yeah, he's going to be really good for a long time too. Those tools, like the glove, the arm, that stuff's not going to age, like some other guys do. So he's going to be a really good player for a really long time.
Yeah, hard hit rate up from 32.7% last year to 39.8%. So far this year. Barrel rate up from 3.7% last year to 6.1%. So we're seeing the all-around skill set that he has on display. I know outs above average didn't love him last year, but he's been
loves him this year,
accruing a ton of outs above average so far this year. I think he's at 6, right?
6. 97th percentile among all MLB players. So that's excellent.
Yeah. So hey, I mean, I think Mason Wynn is someone that next year when, Chaim Bloom enters in as the Pobo, I think he's the one guy that you look at and you want to build around this team with. I think that he's certainly deserving of that long-term contract with the way he's playing on both sides of the ball. And yeah, so third pick, this is where things get interesting, in my opinion. I thought that Mason Wynn and Herrera are probably the slam dunk top 2 guys. But after him, there's a lot of different directions I can go. I mean, Victor Scott, the defense that he's been playing out in center field, and, the bat is coming together. I know he's been not hitting as well of late, but still overall on the season, he's been close to a league average bat. And, the defense and base running that he provides is awesome. But I'm going to go with JJ Weatherholt. And, Weatherholt. Oh, Sandy. All right. So I guess I'm just going to continue from here. So I'm going with Weatherholt. Weatherholt has hit home runs in back-to-back games. We've seen the pull side juice come together on the season at AAA or at AA. He's up to a 128 WRC plus. Not a lot of strikeouts. He's walking at a 10.4% clip as well. We're seeing the bat to ball skills. He's drawing his walks. The power is coming together. And just overall, this might be a little early to, take a prospect that has yet to debut in the major leagues, but I'm very bullish on JJ Weatherholt. He's just performed outstanding so far at the AA level. And I think that he's going to provide you more upside than some of these other guys that have already debuted at the major league level, in my opinion. So going with JJ, and I think I'm building a pretty nice middle infield core right now with Masyn Winn and JJ.
Yeah, that's exactly the direction I expected you to go. My Wi-Fi cut out there for a second, so I missed some of the analysis, but I don't need it. We know JJ's a stud. I figured you'd go that way. Disappointed to hear it when I came back. And yes, you will have a strong middle infield, but I'm going to have a very strong battery because I'm going to go with Matthew Liberatore. And here's why. I think if you told me that I would take Liberatore in the second round of a draft like this before the season, I'd tell you you're an idiot and you're crazy. But what we've seen out of him this year is really big stuff. I think one thing with Matthew is I'm confident in him being a starter in the big league rotation for a while now. He's earned his spot. He'll be a starter all of this year. And hopefully moving forward, the Cardinals can really Sharpie his name in as one of their 5 guys. I can't say that about any other pitcher in the system right now. I mean, if you think about there are guys with talent. Cooper Jerpy has all the talent in the world. He's an incredibly exciting guy to watch. Jacob Roby's tearing it up right now. Michael McGreevy has been really good, but we know the ceiling isn't necessarily where Liberatore's ceiling is, even though I am a McDreamy supporter, right? McDreamy, whatever you want to call him. Even some of these other guys like Tink Hence, Quinn Matthews even, I can't promise anymore. The health concerns with all these guys are real at this point. I know Quinn, he's back and that's good to see. But I don't know what to say about a Tink Hence. Cooper Jerpy's missing the whole season. For those of you that were live with us when that happened, that was unfortunate. Jacob Roby has scary injury history. So I think I've got to go with Libby just because I know that I can say he's a starter and the Cardinals are going to be starting him for the foreseeable future. There's a path to him racking up a ton of career value that way. And while I do like some of the position players that are available here, I think I'm going to go the pitcher route, take the one slam dunk starter off the board here, and I'm building myself a nice battery.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I probably would have gone with Victor Scott if I was in your position there. So, not great on, or I would have gone with Liberatore, right? Yeah, I would have gone with Liberatore in that spot. But you're up again. You're picking again. So who are you going with this time around?
Yeah, so now I get to move out and look for a position player here. I want another hitter in my lineup. While there are some names I like, I do want to go sort of the Masyn Winn route. And you've already said his name, but that's where I was going. And that's Victor Scott II. Friend of the show, awesome guy, really, really a great dude. He is tons of fun to watch out there. 2 doubles last night. He tears it up on the base pass. He tears it up in the field. Now with Victor Scott, a lot of people, as he was coming up through the system, were talking about how the defense was can't miss, generational level defense. But last year in the small sample at the beginning of the year, it was not what it's been this year. Victor right now, he's in the 99th percentile of outs above average with 6 already on the season. He's been one of the 3 best defensive center fielders in all of baseball. I mean, PCA has been pretty incredible, but Victor Scott's right there with him. He gets to balls that nobody should be able to get to. He makes plays that nobody should make. He's a ton of fun to watch. And on the offensive side, we're seeing some stuff come together for Victor. Some of the peripherals, the metrics aren't necessarily as positive as you'd like, but he's walking nearly 10% of the time, which is great. The K rate is a little high for me, but it's down from what it was last year, which is really good. You're just seeing a lot of improvement across the board here. Again, one of the fastest players in all of baseball. He's averaging 30 feet per second on competitive runs, which is elite. That is 100th percentile in all of the league. I've got to go with Victor Scott here. The floor is it's a Masyn Winn type thing where the floor is high. Although Victor's bat is not quite what Mason's bat is, so I can't comp the two necessarily in that sense. But the floor is very high with Scott.
Yeah, Freudian slip there for me.
I was going anyway. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, I wanted Victor Scott with my next pick, and unfortunately that's not going to be happening. But
Ozone Bacon's still on the board.
I don't know where to go here. Matthews
there's a drop off for sure.
Yeah, Matthews is my top prospect available, technically, but I've been really impressed by what I've seen with Michael McGreevy and the developments he'd made this year. Whereas, Quinn Matthews has missed, most of the season. So I don't know. I'm still going to go with Quinn Matthews here. One of the best pitching prospects in the game. recently made a rehab assignment in the complex league. So hopefully we can see him back at AAA soon. We're looking at someone that's just got a dynamic 4-pitch mix. The fastball is a plus offering. He gets solid vert on it, sits in the mid 90s. Slider really took a step up last year, mid 80s gyro offering, found better feel for it against righties as the season progressed. Changeup, Bugs Money, one of the best changeups in minor league baseball in terms of results last year. Gives him a real weapon in those right-handed matchups. And then he'll also mix in a curveball. So I think, he's got the pitchability. The stuff took a big step up last year. This is still one of the top pitching prospects in the game. With him not pitching at the major league level yet, there is some, concern. Whereas, I think that, Liberatore has already shown that, he's capable of pitching and starting at the next level with how he's looked this year. But I think Matthews might bring more upside when we're looking at a guy that is one of the top pitching prospects in the game and, took such a big leap in terms of his stuff last year.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Matthews there. I think there's more upside with a play going with him as opposed to Michael McGreevy. But maybe I won't even have to, debate this, because with my next pick, I'm going to take Michael McGreevy.
Come on, that's what I wanted. Oh, dang it.
So double dip on the pitchers. I get my more high-end guy, a little bit of variance there. But, as long as he's able to stay healthy, and it looks like he's going to be back in AAA soon, with him making the rehab start in the complex league. But McGreevy, this was someone I wasn't a big fan of when the Cardinals picked him, but year over year, he's just made a ton of improvements. Last year, being able to add 5 inches of sweep to his slider, make it go from more of a 2-plane shape into a true sweeper. And it's his best secondary offering at the moment. And this year, I mean, he's continued to take steps up. The velocity on his 4-seamer is up. It's up from 92 to 94. So, I mean, up a couple ticks. The changeup shape is a lot better. Last year it was 6 inches of vert, 13 inches of arm side run. This year it's been 2 inches of vert, 15 inches of arm side run. A little bit harder too. So I think that, a couple years ago, I was a bit skeptical of McGreevy working out as a starter just due to those, left-handed matchups. I didn't know if his arsenal played well enough in those matchups, but he's added a cutter. He's added velocity to his 4-seamer this year. He's turned his changeup into a serviceable pitch, just in terms of the specs. I think the results haven't quite been there yet, but I'm bullish on the specs and, the improvements to the shape. And, I think McGreevy could end up being, a solid back of the rotation piece for the Cardinals. And, hopefully we can see that at some point this year. I know the Cardinals rotation is, full at this point, but if an injury occurs, obviously don't hope for an injury, but if an injury happens or a trade and that spot opens up, I'm really looking forward to seeing what this guy can provide at the next level over an extended stretch, because, the little that we've seen has been so encouraging. So I got to go with Michael McGreevy there. Double dip on pitching. Go get the, top pitching prospect in the organization and pair him with a, pitchability stud that has performed well in his limited time at the major league level.
Yeah, man, I hate to see you go that way. That's exactly where I wanted to go. But we're just going to take a quick moment to acknowledge some sponsors of the podcast. So, hey, if you're looking for a Michael McGreevy card, or in Andrew's case, a John King card, I know a great place for you to go to get that. And that's 314 Sports Cards, located at 9640 on Olive Boulevard in Olivet, Missouri. They're open 10 to 6 Monday through Friday and 10 to 4 on Saturday and Sunday. They buy, sell, and trade all sorts of sports cards, Pokemon cards, any trading cards you're looking for, they probably have them. They've got the newest selection of packs, boxes, and single cards of local players and stars from around the league. So again, whether you're looking for that Shohei Ohtani card or chasing that Michael McGreevy card, 314 is the place to be. And then we've got another message from another one of our sponsors right here.
The Deal in the Cards podcast is proud to be partnered with Underdog Sports, our favorite place to play fantasy games. You're now eligible to play in Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, and 37 other U.S. states. You got to check out Pick'em. It's so easy to play. You just pick 2 to 8 stats of your favorite players and choose whether they'll go higher or lower. You can win 20 times your money by going 5 for 5. If that sounds like fun, sign up with our promo code CARDS to claim your first free pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We can't wait to see your entries.
Yeah, so check out Underdog. It's really fun to play. Play responsibly. Okay, so now, man, you took my guy McDreamy. I really wanted to nab another pitcher, but I just don't feel comfortable really taking any of these other guys on the board in terms of starters. There's one route I could go. I don't know how I feel about it. You know what? I'm looking at these position players and they all just worry me, and they worry me for different reasons, right? Like, I know Jordan Walker is going to keep getting opportunities, but I just don't know what the floor is anymore. It's been nice to see him look comfortable these last couple games, though. Big double off the wall last night was great to listen on the radio. I mean, I see an Alec Burleson, but I just don't know how much value he provides long-term as a guy that they can't really play in the field, and they're going to have more opportunities to check out other DH types. And, you know, he could get squeezed eventually, especially if they decide Herrera is the long-term DH. All right. I think I'm just going to pull the trigger and do it. I'm going to take Kyle Leahy here. And here's why. You might call me crazy. I'm taking a reliever, but look, the Cardinals they've made some interesting decisions in the last few years, which involve putting their most electric arms into starters roles, which I'm really excited to see. And they made some of those decisions in the minors where they've let guys continue to start. Like a Zach Showalter could be a great reliever, but the Cardinals have given him a lot of chances to start. And I really like that. You want to give your best arms a chance to do the most important thing in your system. And I think with the season Kyle Leahy's having, and with how much his arsenal has changed since he was starting in the minors a few years ago, the Cardinals may be inclined to give him another shot there. And I think I don't know if they will. I don't know if he'll be a starter next year. I can't say that, but we've heard rumblings. It definitely seems like his name's going to be in the conversation. Also, if Kyle Leahy can't start, he's not going to be, a 1.01 ERA guy for the rest of his career, but he's already racked up 1.2 WAR this year, which actually makes him a positive WAR player, on his career of 1.1. So he had a negative WAR coming into this season. But he's been fantastic. He's been electric. He's doing pretty much everything they could possibly ask. He's already appeared in 20 games this season. He has locked down some huge moments, and he's had a lot of multi-inning, or at least like more than 3 out appearances, a couple of which have been massive. So I think I'm going to go with Leahy. I think if we were making one of our monthly Deal in the Cards tier lists right now, like Leahy would be firmly an S tier. I feel good going with him, and I do think there's a chance he starts. The other thing is, I know where the floor is at this point with a guy who's an above-average reliever, who's already on the big league roster, has already proven he can get big league hitters out. And, the injury history isn't anything like it is with a different guy, such as a Tink Hence or a Tekoa Roby. Man, this is getting really tough now because we've used up a lot of the guys that I feel really good about long-term. With my last pick, I don't know. I don't want to double dip at catcher. I was thinking Jimmy Crooks, but he hasn't necessarily been super hot anyway to start the year. Looking at maybe I just need to go with like a potential like lottery ticket smash pick, which is where I think about a Rainiel Rodriguez type, but I just don't know. He's so far from the big leagues. Like I wouldn't see any ROI for like 4 or 5 years. But I might just go for it. Why not? If I win this draft, it's going to be because I took a big swing and something worked out for me. So let's just do it. He is not even in full season ball yet. He is really far from the big leagues, but the ceiling is as high as it is with anybody else in the system. The numbers he's putting up have been pretty crazy. He's on a power binge right now. So why not? With my last pick, I'll go with Rynell Rodriguez.
You know what? The Leahy pick, I actually didn't mind that. I think I probably would. That would have been the direction I would have gone if I was you. But Rynell, it still feels a little too rich for a guy that hasn't played in full season ball.
I know, but why not? It's my last pick, and here's the thing: there's every chance that if I go with one of these other guys I could go with a Thomas Sajazi. I really thought about that, but I just don't know where the playing time is going to be for Thomas. You know, I worry about with if they want to continue to give opportunities to Jordan Walker. Obviously Brendan Donovan is there for the long term. Mason Wynn's there for the long term. Maybe they could slot him in at third base, but you're going to have JJ coming up on the left side of that infield eventually. And I think there's a decent chance Sajazi, if he does break out, doesn't do it in a Cardinals uniform if they were moving him for pitching at some point. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe if someone gets hurt or something. And again, Sajazi has a nice bat. I thought about Chase Davis too, Samuel. I really thought about him. But the Cardinals have a lot of outfielders they really like right now. So I don't know. Let's just shoot my shot. I'll take my lottery ticket and, I'll move on to you. I'll defer to you now.
Yeah, I don't know where I should go with this pick.
It's really hard down here. There's a lot of interesting names, but they're all like really, there's a lot of question marks.
I've got a couple pitchers. I've got a couple middle infielders.
I thought about a Chenwei Lin, if that's where you're going. Thought about that, but so far again.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, there's a lot of pitchers that are still left. The Cardinals farm system is rich in a lot of, pitching prospects, whether it be a TK Roby, who's showing out this year, feels like he's the only healthy arm.
Yeah. I thought about Roby too, but the injury history scares me. If he ends up a reliever.
Obviously, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've already picked 2 pitchers. And pitchers are risky in their own right.
I know. I already had 2 as well. I didn't want to go with another one.
You know what? I'll go with Cooper Jerpy here.
Okay.
He was my 3rd ranked prospect entering the season. Won't be pitching for the rest of the year due to TJ, but I still think he has a higher upside than pretty much every pitcher in this organization. When we're talking about a guy that has a quality fastball, sweeper, change-up combo. The cutter took a step up last year with the help of Jason Isringhausen. I just think from a swing and miss standpoint, from a managed contact standpoint, even if Cooper Jerpy ends up as a bullpen piece, I think he's going to be a high leverage kind of guy. But if not, I mean, I think that, as long as he's able to stay healthy, he hasn't shown that so far this year, right? But so far in his career, but if he's able to show that he can, handle a starter's workload, I think the upside is immense. And I think the floor is not that low either. Like, I think he could be a solid mid-rotation piece at the very least, if he's able to stay healthy and show that he can handle the workload, which he did in college. So betting on the upside with this pick. And to round out my,
I think you already have 5, right?
Oh, right. Yeah. So I was just thinking, because
as a sub, if you want to take a 6th, we can each go one more round as a sub, and you can put him in for anybody that doesn't accrue more than 0 WAR, but we won't know the results of this for 15 years.
Now let's just keep it at 5. I was just thinking, because we've been picking.
Yeah, Snake. I know
twice so I guess that rounds out my team. Cooper Jerpy with the 5th overall, or with the 9th overall selection, right? So
no, 10th.
Oh, is your team's done as well?
Yeah, because I drafted 1st in the 1st round, so I drafted 1st and the 3rd and the 5th as well.
That's okay, yeah.
Random lottery ticket because it was my last pick, and who knows.
All right, so I went with Mason Wynn, JJ Weatherholt, and then Matthews.
Yeah, Quinn Matthews, and then Michael
McGreevy, and then Cooper Jerpy. Yeah,
3 pitchers to round out.
3 pitchers,
and then I went with oh my gosh, Ivan Herrera, Matthew Liberatore, Victor Scott, Kyle Leahy, and Rynell Rodriguez. But if I was going to take a more safe pick, I would take Tekoa Roby.
Yeah, no, I can completely understand you shooting for the stars with Rynell. He's been so impressive, and we're going to be talking about him in this next segment. So,
yeah, I think the most interesting thing I've heard about him is that people have said, because you think about a guy that's so young, he's a high schooler, right? I mean, if he was available, people are saying that he could be a 1st-round talent in this draft. And so if the Cardinals, instead of signing him on an international deal, had drafted him in the 1st round, there'd be way more buzz. You know what I mean? He'd be much more well-known in Cardinal Nation, which is why I think it is. I mean, he's an incredibly fascinating prospect. I do wonder where he's going to land when we start to get more data. I wonder where he lands in your top 30 as well.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if
soon.
he's yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's inside the top 10, but I do want to see what the data is like in full season ball before I get to that point. But just having talked to some people that do have access to that, he's gotten up to 113 max EV.
Let's put
awesome.
that in perspective real quick. I'm pretty sure that's harder than Mason Wynn's hit a single ball this year.
Yeah, I think Mason Wynn, he's probably topped out around 110.
Yeah, Mason Wynn, the hardest hit ball of Mason Wynn's career is 111.1, or at the big league level, 111. And that was last year. This year, Wynn topped out at 109. Like, to be 18 years old and recording those kind of exit velocities, that's the type of stuff that gets you noticed and gets you drafted, pretty quickly too, pretty high up.
Absolutely. And it's not just he's hitting the ball hard. He has such a great feel for elevating and hitting the ball in the air. And he's not even avoiding pop outs. Like, it's just a ton of fly balls where he's going to do damage. So very impressive. So do you want to, start talking about Rynell? Is he legit or not?
Yeah, let's just get right into it. Right. I mean, I'm intrigued. I think he is the type of guy that Cardinals fans need to start learning that name, because he's going to be in full season ball soon, and we're going to have access to some metrics, and it's going to be a very exciting time to be following the system.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with you. Last year in the Dominican Summer League, 345, 462, 683 slash line, 10 home runs, and had 30 walks to 25 strikeouts. Yeah. And, getting some flashbacks of Malcolm Nunez there. He set the world on fire in 2018, won the Triple Crown in the Dominican Summer League in his age 17 season, similar to Rodriguez finding so much success in that league. And he didn't end up becoming much of a prospect, dealt to the Pirates in the Jose Quintana trade, I believe, a few years back. And, Rodriguez has been carrying that success to, the Florida Complex League so far. Yeah, it's still rookie ball. He's stateside now, but he is still going up against a lot of young guys, a lot of, teenagers. It's not the level of competition he's facing in the Complex League is still not close to what he's going to see in A-ball. So I don't know if we can expect him to, hit at this level, but, he hit home runs in 4 consecutive games, 6 home runs on the season, 9 walks to 9 strikeouts. It's just been very impressive all around. And like I said, like, the power fundamentals are there. The feel for loft, 47.5% fly ball rate last year. This year, it's 57.7%. And that's paired with a respectable infield fly ball rate. So it's not like he's mishitting. He's hitting fly balls where he's going to do damage. And we're seeing the results with all the home runs he's hitting. Exit velocities have been loud, like up to 113. I don't have the numbers on, his hard hit rate and average EV, but up to 113 at that age, we talked about that. That's very impressive.
Pretty ridiculous. It just doesn't happen often.
The strikeout and walk rates are, in check. So far this year, 18.4% walk rate, 18.4% K rate. I would expect the walk rate to go down. He doesn't seem to be an overly his plate approach doesn't seem to be like amazing. Like, I think that he's going up against a lot of pitchers that either
don't have control. They're all over the place.
Yeah, don't have control, or honestly, I mean, they're feared of this guy with how many home runs he's hitting. So I think he's going to see a lot more pitches inside the strike zone when he gets over to full season ball, but still not striking out much. I mean, less than 20% strikeout rate, and he's providing so much power and damage on contact. So I mean, he's been unbelievable, but I do want to see more. Like I said, going back to Malcolm Nunez, he performed so well in rookie ball, and when he got over to full season ball, he wasn't hitting anywhere close to that level anymore. And Rodriguez, there are some questions regarding whether he'll stick behind the plate. Scouts don't seem to love his actions behind the dish. And if he can't catch, there's going to be an even bigger emphasis on him being able to hit, which, you know, he has shown so far, but I don't know at what level we can expect him to hit in full season ball just yet. So I think that if there's one thing that's holding back his promotion to A-ball, I would guess it would be his defense. But regardless, I think that he needs to be promoted. I want to see what this guy is capable of at the next level. And he's been awesome. Like every time, you know, the Florida Complex League Cardinals play a game, I'm always checking the box score, and that's mostly due to him. It's been awesome. I can't wait to, you know, watch his development, and, you know, especially when he's able to get over to Palm Beach, so we have access to the StatCast data, and, you know, I could really start deep diving into him and, you know, providing analysis into the kind of, you know, player I think he could end up becoming.
Yeah, I mean, even if we don't get him to A-ball necessarily very soon, it'll be nice to get a bigger sample size, because, you know, he's actually been even better since coming stateside, which is pretty rare. You know, I mean, the level of competition is higher than he was facing before, but it's only in 12 games. So I would love to see what this looks like in a 35, 40 game sample eventually, which, you know, it's just going to take time to get there. But I would also like to see the Cardinals get aggressive with this guy. You know, he's clearly dominating inferior competition right now. And at just 18, that's big stuff, but it'd be nice to start to see him get promoted and face much tougher competition, frankly. And also guys that are going to push him a little bit. Sometimes we see really high walk rates in the Florida State League or whatever, or the Florida Complex League, not the Florida State League. We see high walk rates in rookie ball just because you're facing guys who don't have their control down yet. They're tinkering, they're working new stuff out in their arsenal. That's where a lot of changes get made. And so, you know, the pitching is just not there, right? So it'll be really nice to see him against tougher competition. When do you think that could be? Do you think the Cardinals could do that this year, or do you think they'll wait till next year to give him his first taste of full season ball?
I suspect it would be at some point this year.
Yeah. Now are we measuring in months or weeks?
I don't know. Like, I feel like it could be soon, or they could wait a little bit. I mean, he's hit at such a great clip that, I mean,
it's ridiculous. A 1475 OPS is video game numbers. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think the holdup is probably the defense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If it is due to his defense not being at the level that it needs to be at, they could take some time with that. Like, even if he continues to tear the cover off the ball, they might just keep him in the complex. But, you know, I think he's deserving of a promotion, at least in terms of what he's provided offensively. And I'm really eager to, you know, watch what he's capable of, you know, in Palm Beach, and, you know, can't wait to get the StatCast data on him.
Yeah. One more question with Rodriguez. If he didn't stick behind the dish, could you see the Cardinals trying to throw him in the outfield? I mean, at 5'10", almost 200 pounds, he's not necessarily the leanest player coming up through the system, but I mean, that makes sense with this kind of power profile. So where would you see the Cardinals moving a guy like him if he didn't work behind the plate? Or is he a long-term DH at that point? Maybe a first corner infielder?
Based on the scouting reports I've read, it doesn't seem like he's this crazy athlete.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting to.
But I think I'll have a better idea when he's over at Palm Beach and we have the sprint speed data. And I have a better idea what kind of level of athlete he is, aside from the, you know, the scouting reports that I've read. But it seems like either first base, DH kind of role if he doesn't end up sticking at catcher, which, you know, the Cardinals value defense at catcher more than, you know, most organizations. We're seeing how, you know, Ivan Herrera is being handled right now. And, you know, Rodriguez, if he hits at the level, you know, we know he's capable of, I think he could work out as a first baseman or DH. I mean, he's hitting at a ridiculous clip right now.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, the numbers are going to come way down to earth, but they could still come down to earth and be excellent.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'll have a better idea of that once he gets over to single A. And yeah, it's been awesome. When you're performing at this clip, regardless of at what level, it's certainly still something you can get excited about a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I guess one more thing, like, what does the arm look like? I mean, we don't have access to all that data, but are any scouts necessarily mentioning it as one of his stronger attributes? And, I see this comment from Samuel. I had the same thought. I mean, what would it look like in the outfield? Obviously, we don't know all these things yet, but what do you suspect here?
The arm seems fringy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He hasn't caught a ton of runners. I think he's caught like 2 runners so far this year behind the plate. So, I mean, not sure. Like, we'll have a better idea of all that when he gets over to Single A. We have all that data available. But it doesn't seem like he has. But I mean, he's still 18 years old. There certainly could be a lot of growth in terms of his defense. Him, adding some strength. Him, becoming a better athlete. So, I mean, I don't think you can give up on the dream just yet. But just based on what we're hearing from the scouts and some of the reports on him, it doesn't seem like he is there just yet in terms of defense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, the Cardinals, and we've harangued them for this in the past, but they've had a lot of trouble pulling out of the international signing pools. I mean, they've had a lot of trouble developing international prospects. And when you look at the roster at the major league level, it's probably much more American than a lot of other rosters around the league. They just have had trouble developing these guys. They've had trouble finding them. They've had trouble winning bidding wars too. So it's really nice to see a young stud. And then also Padilla is another interesting guy who's made some waves, coming into this season and whatnot. It's interesting to see the Cardinals pull some of these guys and actually potentially have something on their hands here. So it's really nice to see because, again, they've had a lot of trouble developing guys on that side, and winning teams do that, right? I mean, you think about the Acuñas of the world. You've got to be able to develop, international players to have a chance in today's game. So, I mean, look at the Brewers, right? Between Churio and then 2 of these other guys, Pena and Made, like, unbelievable what they've been able to do. You got to be able to replicate that to some level. So that's another reason to be excited about what Rodriguez means for the future of the organization as well, if they can continue to replicate that kind of success.
Yeah, and another guy, Yaro Padilla, a lot of intrigue with his name.
Yeah.
And I don't think that he's as of a finished product offensively than someone like a Rynell. There's still some power that he can still grow into. I think he's either 6'2" or 6'3", according to Baseball America. Still growing. The exit velocities aren't at that Rainiel Rodriguez level, but this is someone that has great instincts at shortstop, a really good athlete, and the scouts over in the DSL seem to be very high on him as well. So, hopefully the Cardinals, we can see them start to develop some of these international guys. It's obviously nice to have, Ivan Herrera killing it at the major league level right now. But aside from him, they haven't had too much success in terms of developing guys internationally. So
they've certainly come close before, right? Like, Alex Reyes was an international signing, if I remember correctly. And I think was Oscar Taveras as well. I believe he was.
Yeah, he was.
But I mean, those guys, unfortunately, right. The tragic passing of Taveras, and then Reyes just, riddled with injuries right when it seemed like he was ready to break out. One of the top prospects in the game at that point, though. So they've been very close a number of times, but they've yet to break through with a true international superstar. Herrera could be that guy too, though. I mean, we're talking about him as if he is. So. Yeah. Well, then we can jump into one final segment here where we're just going to some quick hitters talking about guys who are going to be moving up or moving down in Kareem's next top 30, which, it's coming soon. So keep that on your radar. Our viewers, always great stuff to read. So we got a couple of names here. We'll just go through some guys who are going to be moving up, some guys who are going to be moving down. First name here, Kareem, tell us a little bit about Joshua Baez. He's a guy that the Cardinals obviously we're very high on at one point in time. He was drafted. Was he a 2nd round pick? He was pretty early on. And it felt like he had finally kind of fallen off. He's now 21 years old. So guys are talking about him being a little old. But what are you seeing this year that's got him back on your radar?
Man, the bat to ball skills have been a night and day difference from what they were previously. Last year at the high A level, 63% contact rate, 37.7% strikeout rate. And so far this year, the contact rate is up 10 percentage points up to 73%, and the strikeout rate all the way down to 20.7%. So, I mean, that's great to see. Baez has always been someone that's struggled with swing and miss, and to see him put that in check a little bit, I think that his hit ability is just taking a massive step up. We're seeing him go the other way, beating the shift. It's just been fun to watch him play this year. Went 4 for 4 today with 2 home runs and a double. Awesome performance. He's up to 336 on the season, 940 OPS. And he has 18 stolen bases already this year. That Peoria club, club has been so aggressive on the bases this year. And Baez has been the best guy in terms of that. And like the tools have always been there with him, right? Former 2nd round pick, someone that you could always dream on. Very explosive athlete, 6'3", 220 frame. The exit velocities have always been loud with him. Really fast. Recorded sprint speeds north of 30 feet per second down at Palm Beach. When he played in front of Statcast data, and he's got an above average throwing arm, and this guy is still just 21 years old. So I know he's been in the organization for what feels like an eternity, but let's remember how young this guy is. And, it doesn't always come together, in the first couple of years. Baez has, held his own, but he's really emerging. And, I think he's going to be back on my top 30 list, might even be inside my top 20 at this point. The system in terms of depth, when we're looking at, that 15 to 30 range, it's not looking too great right now. And I think Baez could already push himself into that when he's got the kind of upside that he has, right? And we're seeing the bat to ball skills come together, and just all around skill set for a corner outfield guy. And still just 21 years old, and it's cool to see him put it all together this year so far.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see what the Cardinals do with him. You mentioned the contact rates. What that's translating to is a strikeout rate that's, pretty much cut in half. Crazy. I know the profile is a very high ceiling profile with those loud exit velocities, but it's a low ceiling where he flames out because he just can't stop striking out in the lower or even the middle levels of the minor leagues. But right now, he's definitely got a handle on it. Only, so last year, right, at A Advanced, you saw 97 strikeouts in 227 at-bats, which is unsustainably high. That's like a 40% strikeout rate. This year, he's only struck out 30 times in 120 at-bats, so down right around 25%, with a walk rate that's basically doubled too. So this is a guy that's getting on base more often. He's putting the ball in play more often, and he's continuing to make loud contact. So he's not sacrificing that, which is exactly what you want to see for a guy that's taken a big step forward. So I wonder where they go with him. I see some guys talking about how he's Rule 5 eligible. While that's a problem, I can't see anybody keeping him on their active roster all year next year, right? Like, you're not even close to that, especially with a position player. You can kind of hide a pitcher you're interested in your bullpen. But a position player, it'd be a tough task to do that. So I don't think the Cardinals necessarily have to worry about that yet. But yeah, he'll be jumping in there. Next up is Ishan Henderson, a guy you had ranked 20th coming into the season. But at AA, he's been absolutely dominant, doing everything the Cardinals have asked of him. He's been outstanding. 7 starts, 36 innings pitched, a 2.25 ERA over that stretch, 45 strikeouts in 36 innings. That's big stuff. Tell us a little bit about what you're seeing from Henderson here.
Yeah, I think the stuff has, trended up a little bit. The velocity on his 4-seamer last year, 91.8 miles an hour, and he's consistently been 93 to 94 this year, T95. And, it's solid ride from a little bit below average vertical release height. So it's a quality fastball that he's working well. And overall, like 5-pitch mix, has advanced feel for a plethora of secondaries. Developed a cutter last year. I think his go-to secondary pitch right now is a sweeper. Last year, he used it as his go-to secondary pitch against lefties, but we're really seeing him find more feel for the pitch against opposite-handed hitters as well. last year. He only threw it 6.8% in those matchups. And we're seeing that more, especially him backfooting that, similar to, someone at the major league level, like a Matthew Liberatore. We're really seeing him lean on that slider inside to right-handed hitters. And, yeah, I mean, Henderson's someone, you have free and easy delivery. We've seen the velocity up. I think the fastball execution has been there. It's a ton of secondaries, sweeper being his best pitch, but he has a changeup, a curveball that he's working well to generate called strikes. It's just, when you're performing at this clip in the Texas League in your first time there, like that's incredible. I didn't see this. I wondered if he would even be at the AA level because, I mean, he didn't pitch a whole lot at high A.
They got really aggressive with him. He has not pitched a ton of innings in the minors so far.
Yeah,
I mean, what'd you see last year, right? 73 innings at low A and then 31 at high A, and they gave him a stint in the Arizona Fall League, which was intriguing.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Cardinals must feel good about him and the, results that he's had in, the hitters friendly Texas League so far have been outstanding. So definitely someone that's trending up. I think the stuff has ticked up a bit. I think that the execution on some of the secondaries as well. He's a fun arm. I think that this isn't someone that just has, a 5-pitch mix and there's no stuff in there. Like, I think there's a little bit of stuff in there too. And, in my write-up for him in preseason, like I mentioned that, I thought that there's more, potential intriguing traits with a guy like Henderson. And it's cool to see him add some velocity and have this level of success so far in AA.
Yeah. I mean, how close is Henderson for you to joining that group of top pitching prospects at some point? Not necessarily being right along with them, but being, maybe one tick below, and a guy that Cardinals fans can think about as being maybe a member of this rotation at some point in the near future.
Yeah, I still think he's a tick down from that, upper echelon of a tier. We talked about,
is he on the McGreevy path potentially?
Perhaps. I think he's closer to that McGreevy path than, a Cooper Jerpy, Quinn Matthews, Tink Hence, and even Takora Roby with the way he's pitched. I think he's closer to a McGreevy, but if he's going to perform at this clip, like he's going to continue to trend up. I think that the ceiling is a little bit limited. I don't think he has like Cooper Jerpy or, Tink Hence or even Quinn Matthews level stuff, but he just knows what he's doing on the mound right now. I think that I could certainly see the pathway to him becoming a back end starter. And, if the Cardinals are able to get that out of him, that's a huge win.
Yeah. Well, the next guy in here is Michael McGreevy, but we have already talked about what McGreevy's done to trend up this year a lot. So we can just get into maybe one guy that you think is going to drop on your list significantly, one guy that's going to drop on the list, and one guy that you think is going to fall off the list. Let's do that. So who do you think's dropping here?
I think Matt Koperniak is going to drop a little bit. Hasn't been a great start to his season at AAA. 195, 261, 276 slash line. The quality of contact just hasn't been great.
Yeah, it's far off a cliff.
Average EV down from 88.9 last year to 87.1. 90th percentile EV last year, 104. And now it's 103. Hard hit rate, 44.6% last year, 39% this year. And his ISO from 203 last year to 081. Terrible. He's not having as much success on balls in play. 355 last year, 224 this year. So, he has been a little bit unlucky when we're just looking at the ex-WOBA, 303 compared to 244 for his actual WOBA. But the impact hasn't been at that level that we saw last year, where, prior to last season, he made those, he put in a lot of work to improve his bat speed. And it seems to have backed up so far this year. Hopefully, this is just a tough start to the season and he can, string together some more success. Cause Koperniak has pretty much hit at every level. And this is like his first roadblock of his professional career. And he's still on the 40-man roster. I think that at some point he's going to have to perform and get back to what we saw last year. But I haven't been encouraged by what I've seen, and he's certainly going to fall a little bit. I still think he's going to be inside my top 30, but he was ranked 13th at the start of the season. I think he's going to fall a little bit from there.
Yeah. Unfortunate for a guy that pretty much, strikes out very infrequently and walks even less frequently. You need to see more from the balls in play. All right. Last guy here. It's unfortunate to see his name down here because he's a guy that Cardinals fans really did dream on, but the results just have not been there. Second year in a row. It's not looking great from Wanbin Cho. So what do you have on him? What's going on and why is he going to be falling off the list?
Yeah. I mean, I was still considering the fact that, Cho has, all the, measurables that you want to see, the exit velocities, he's athletic. The swing decisions were solid. I just thought that there was a lot to dream on, but for the second straight year, he's just not performing. There hasn't been any sort of power output. I know that he hits the ball decently hard, but it's a lot of ground balls. He's not elevating. He's not getting to his pull side. And, this is 2 consecutive years. We're not seeing any sort of power production. There's a ton of whiffs and strikeouts to go along with it. 30.1% whiff rate, 28.2% strikeout rate. And when you're striking out at that level and not providing any sort of power, Samuel just mentioned it. Sounds like Jordan Walker. You can't find success when you're striking out at such a high clip and you're not providing any power. I know Cho, the fact that he can play all 3 outfield positions is something that I weighed a lot in terms of my ranking prior to the season, him becoming a potential 4th, 5th outfielder type. But at some point, I mean, if you're not going to hit at all, you're just not going to be on a big league trajectory. You're not going to be in a big league picture in the future. And
it's such a low level.
Yeah, it sucks to see that because Cho is talented. Like the exit velocities are there. I think he, at least in A ball, he showed that he can make good swing decisions, and the contact rates have backed up a ton. Like they were serviceable in A ball, but so far in high A the past couple of years,
whiff rate is crazy.
Too many whiffs, making a lot of. He's swinging and missing a lot on breaking stuff, which you don't want to see. He's just going to see more breaking stuff as he climbs through the system. So
it's not good.
It hasn't been great for him. So I ranked him 29th in my preseason list. He won't be on my updated list that will be coming out after the draft. Still making some tweaks, but Wanbin Cho, that's the last guy that we're going to be talking about in terms of trending down.
Well, I mean, you hate to see a guy that a lot of Cardinals fans are really interested in flaming out potentially this early. But again, it's never too late for some of these guys. There are things to like about Cho's profile. The defense, the potential power is still probably there. At least the walk rate's not 0, but it's not as high as you'd like at such a low level. So I guess we'll see where he is next time around. But thanks for joining us today on another episode of Birds on the Farm. We had a ton of fun. In 15 years, we'll know who won this value draft, I guess, especially with me picking a guy like Rodriguez that's so far away. But I guess we'll see how that works out eventually. And thank you so much. Keep an eye out for Kareem's top 30. It's going to be coming soon. Check out 314, and we'll see you next time, guys. Thank you.